time. Hello, and welcome to Into the Liminal Abyss Paranormal Podcast. I am your host, Shatan Noir, and this week my guest is Mr. Keith Age. Hello, Keith.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. So let's start out with the basics. Tell me more about your background and your interest in the paranormal.
Well, it started just a little over 40 years ago. Um, I'm giving away my age here. Back in the 70s, I started playing music, and in the late 70s, I started touring with different bands and stuff. And that's all my world was just pretty much music. And met this young lady after I came home from touring one summer, and got to go over to her house, and she really didn't have any interest in introducing me to her mom and dad, and I just kind of figured it was a rock and roll look I had, and come to find out, no, they had a ghost in the house that didn't like her and her sister's boyfriends.
Oh.
So she informed me of this when I'm in the house, and me being young, dumb, and stupid is like, okay, prove it. Do something. Show me, I don't believe in you. When we sat on a couch at this little ranch house, we sat on this couch. You can see down the hallway in the master bedroom, and there was a mirror directly across from us in this bedroom. And we could see our reflection because we were sitting on the end of the couch. And something kept breaking that reflection. And I'd go down there and check it out. There's nobody in the room. So like I said, for the rest of the night, I taunted this thing, daring it to do something. Prove to me you're here. And at the end of the night, I went to kiss my girlfriend goodnight inside the living room at the doorway. And as I bent down to kiss her, I felt just this incredible, powerful grip on my left arm. And I looked down, there's nothing there. And I looked over because the next thing I thought was, oh crap, Dad's got a hold of me here. And he's sitting over in a chair, a little lazy boy thing with his eyes about the wide of coffee saucers. And next thing I know, I'm flying backwards through the air, through the front door, through the screen door, and I landed about 6 feet out in the front yard. And I remember there trying to catch my breath and seeing what's broken and what's not, and then looking up and going, that was so effing cool. Do it again. And I've been hooked ever since. So yeah, I'm one of the old guys now.
So now, with your background in music history, I have to ask this question because I know you're from the South, and you said that you were in the music industry for a while. Have you ever been to Bobby Mackey's?
Since 1996.
Okay. I have to ask the question.
Okay.
So, what has been your experiences there, and tell me about it.
Well, I'm about as psychic as a brick. I'll admit that. And for going to Bobby Mackey's, the reason I say that is, and I'm sure you've heard of Waverly Hills.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's where everybody knows me pretty much from. It's where I got my name in this business. From 2000 to 2005, I'm the one, and me and my group are the ones that got the original stuff out of Waverly Hills. We're the ones that helped clean it up, start the tours and everything else there. And if you've heard the stories about the guy getting hit with the brick and all that stuff up at Waverly Hills, well, that's me. And if I was psychic, I would have ducked.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm about as psychic as a brick. And with Bobby Mackey's, it's a cool place, really cool. I mean, just the vibe in the place is interesting. And the only thing that I have ever had happen to me is when you're down in the basement, which is where the well is at.
Yes.
directly above you is the dance floor, and there is a doorway right there at the well, and just a set of steps that are going up to the dance hall. Well, that's all been blocked off at the top. And, a lot of people say they've seen this, they've seen that. I'll be honest with you, I'll tell you exactly what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've felt. We're standing there, and you could hear coming down those steps somebody wearing a big, heavy pair of boots. And, I'm just sitting there waiting for somebody to come through that door. And nobody ever did. Open the door, took the light up there. You see millions of cobwebs, so many cobwebs you can't see up to the top. None of them are broken. And yet, I know we heard these boots coming down the steps. So, that's the only paranormal thing I've ever had happen to me at Bobby Mackey's. But it is such a cool place. That's why, I definitely say go back as many times as you can.
Now, see, I've heard the opposite. I've heard people say don't ever go there, but I guess it depends on your personal reaction and whether the spirits there want to interact with you or not.
That's true. It's like I said, I've seen a lot of strange things, a lot of weird things over the 40 plus years I've been doing this, and I have never ever seen a ghost like you or I standing there talking to each other. I'm still waiting for the day one walks up and goes, "Hi, I'm Bob." And a lot of people are, we're here to help these sensitive spirits, and I'm like, well, first of all, how do we know they're sensitive? And two, how do we know they're spirits? It could be some little green men on some far off planet going, "What's this?" We don't know.
Right.
We don't know anything about this whatsoever. We've barely skimmed the surface of it. We haven't done any real research on it except for what we've been doing. I mean, when Ghost Hunters came out in 2004, it was a huge explosion, and then we came out in 2005, me and the Boot Brothers, with the Spook series on Sci-Fi. And, that's how the whole explosion when it started in 2004. And, all that's been done is what people have seen on TV so far, pretty much. We're just data takers right now, and that's all we can be until we can, figure out that one little thing, and we're going, oh, this is interesting, and we can prove it now. So, that's why I do not do anything non-metaphysically, and also because, like I said, I'm about as psychic as a brick.
Now, so you didn't have anything other than the sounds of boots at Bobby Mackey's, but I'm guessing Waverly Hills is a whole different situation.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, we were there from 2000 to 2005, and we gave all the tours. Remember, we started the tours. We got a lot of different things out there, but there's been a lot more research done since then, and people have got a whole lot more stuff out of it. But yeah, from disembodied voices to I've been thrown through a wall up there, and it could get pretty violent at times. We've got photos, in 35 millimeter photos, not digital, but 35 millimeter photos of the little boy Timmy who plays the ball. We got an actual photo of him. And just different chance, EVP stuff, and you name it,
So you've had a lot of experience with the paranormal, and it sounds like with also you mentioned the show that you did, which I do remember. I'm old enough. I'm not quite as old as you, but I'm old enough that I dye my hair every month.
Geez, thanks. I'm not as old as you. Appreciate that.
well, you were talking about things that were a little bit before for me, but Yeah. Now, my understanding is you've gone on to some bigger adventures with, I believe it's called Mid-South Paranormal Convention.
Well, Mid-South Paranormal Convention, I started that. This will be our 19th year. And it's the biggest and it's the oldest and it's pretty much the last paranormal convention out there. There's a ton of conferences, but there are no more conventions, really. This is a 3-day event. And, you know, this is the 19th year, and it just gets bigger and bigger every year.
And now, what can people expect when they come? Is it like, are there celebrity guests? Is it,
Oh, yeah, there will be over 40 plus celebrity guests, that, names people recognize from Ken Gerhardt. You will be there
I know.
also. uh, Ken Gerhardt, Dalen Spratt from Ghost Brothers will be there. My brother from another mother, Christopher Boots, and his wife Rachel will be there. It's just a lot of people. So many I can't remember off the top of my head. And if people want more info on that, they can definitely go to www.louisvilleghs.com. Don't go to LouisvilleGhostHunterSociety.com. That's a Japanese porno site.
Okay, do not go to that site.
Yeah, go to LouisvilleGHS.com.
Good. Because I don't want people to go to the wrong site. That would be very bad. Now, it's the convention's at the end of June.
June 28th, 29th, and 30th. Yeah.
Okay.
In Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay. And are we? I know that we've got different guests who are
Oh
there
yeah,
are going to do
there's
presentations and.
two full rooms of speakers on Saturday and Sunday, and we also have a gallery for the first time that for psychics or even anybody that wants to have their own gallery room. We're doing that this year. The first one is Lori Johnson from the Ghosts of Shepperton, and Rick Hayes will be doing one after that, and we haven't announced it yet, but Bishop James Long will be doing a demonology seminar.
Oh, interesting. I know I'm going to be like, oh, I want to go take this one. I want to go take. I'll probably just like end up walking in and putting my recorder like next to the podium and then going back to my booth, which I've done that in the past. But because it's like you want to
again,
be.
there's two full rooms for both days that the speakers will be talking. And the schedules, you can go, like I said, logoghs.com, get the full speaker lineup.
And it's an amazing lineup. I mean, I know we said Ken Gerhardt, but there's lots of different paranormal investigators and cryptozoologists. And do we have anybody for UFOs? I was
This year, no.
okay.
Oddly
So
enough,
nobody for
usually
UFOs,
we
but
have somebody, but this year, no.
okay. So we definitely got our bases covered with paranormal and cryptozoologists. Um, So now, I know that Mid South is been around for 19 years, and you've been the backbone behind that one. But are there any other conventions that you're doing or coming up with?
Yeah, I'll be at SilCon in Mattoon, Illinois. That's in September. Every year out at Poasttown Elementary School, Ohio, we have what's called non-con, and that's going to be late August, or excuse me, late September, and it's free to set up, free to attend. It's an outdoor event and a 1 day event, and the place gets packed and tons and tons of dealers, and plus people want to go inside and see Post Town and doing that. And then let's see what else I got. I'll be back at Post Town for there's another event I just lost the name of. See, that's what when you get old.
I understand. That's why I write lots of things down.
Yeah, no,
Because otherwise I lose it.
I have to write everything down too. But you'd asked me about tours.
Oh yes, yes.
Just got done with my tour season basically. I will be doing another one sometime in October, just a few here and there. There's a great place here in Cynthiana, Kentucky. The whole town. It's really, really cool. And it's called Ross, ROHS Opera House. And what puts Cynthiana, Kentucky on the map, I mean, it's a little old town, that is actually the birthplace of the Walking Dead. And that's where Robert Kirkman is from, and Tony Laird.
Okay.
The guys who created it. And if you look at the original books, instead of Atlanta, they've got it set in Cynthiana, Kentucky. Now, 2 weeks ago, I went back to the Ross house. I've been there twice. And one other thing it's famous for, the Opera House, when you go outside and look on the side, there's a 100-foot by 40-foot mural on the side of this thing. Rick Grimes, Carl Grimes, Michonne, and Daryl Dixon. Well, the guy I had with me doing the tour with me had never done one before. We've met at a few gigs and stuff, and he's interested in it, so he asked me to show up too. His name is Lars Van Carter, Crafter, and he's going to be at the Mid-South this year too. And he is the #1 Norman Reedus Daryl Dixon cosplayer. This man could be Norman Reedus' brother.
Yeah, I saw his picture, and at first I did a double take. I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna have Norman there, and then I was like, wait, oh, he's a cosplayer, but he looks exactly like him.
And he's a super nice guy, and like I say, he's really into the paranormal. Now, he'd never been on a ghost hunt before, so he said he'd like to do some EVP work and play with the recorders and stuff like that. So I gave him a set of headphones and a studio quality digital recorder that also has been tampered with a little bit and records in different levels, hearing levels that we hear in, and sent him up to the rafters of the old Opera House. And he'd been up there maybe 5 minutes, him and his wife and a couple other people. And at the same time, his wife and these other people go, "Did you hear that?" And of course he goes, "I didn't hear nothing." So he come back down and he goes, really excited. He said, "Man," he says, how do you rewind this thing? We gotta see if we caught something. Well, less than 5 minutes, he captured a Class A EVP.
Awesome.
I mean, I don't have to tell you what the word is, so your mind will say, "Oh, okay, I understand." It is plain, clear, and just one word. And when you hear it, you'll know what it's saying. Lars is not his actual name, but that's how I introduced him to everybody except for my partner, Jason Snyder, and I introduced him his real name at the hotel, not at the Opera House. And so anyway, while he's up there, loud and clear, his wife and a couple of other people heard this disembodied voice call his name. And sure enough, when you listen on the tape, it's saying his name.
Wow.
And so now we have another believer in our midst.
Well, yeah, that would when you do it, an investigation like that where actually I think that's what people should do for investigations is use before you go in, you designate your fake identity, and then you see if something inside the haunted location picks up on what your real identity is and uses that real your real name instead of the fake name that everybody's calling you by.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting, confusing but very interesting investigation.
I'm sorry.
I said that would be a very interesting but confusing investigation because everybody, what's your fake name again?
Yeah, his name is Lars Van Crafter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say what his real name is.
No problem. No problem.
So anyway, getting back to that, in October they have a lot of ghost walks and stuff, and we're going to do something with the Opera House, but we're also going to do something with the 150-year-old jail that's been sitting there, that's abandoned and locked up.
Now that I could see as being really because I'm assuming that they're brick walls.
There are 25-foot by 3-foot brick walls and steel doors.
And
steel doors.
Yeah. And brick usually holds a lot of energy, the residual energy from hauntings.
Oh yeah, and I mean these doors I'm talking about are kind of like in an oval shape, and they're big enough for the carriages to come through, the horse-drawn carriages.
Oh wow!
And I mean it's not that big a jail. It only has about 10 cells in it, but and in a huge courtyard. So we're going to see what we can find. Yeah, I found that jails, schools, and hospitals and churches hold a lot of energy.
Yeah, those are usually the ones that come up the most. Now, hospitals are usually those kind of make me, cringe a little bit because that's where so many people die, and it's. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people, not all spirits are negative. Not all, spirits are positive. However the person was in life, that's how they're going to be.
Oh yeah, if they were mean and evil when they were alive, and that's how they're going to be if they're able to come back. And I've always said that myself, and I've also, people get up there and say, "Oh, I've got to go to this graveyard and this cemetery," and I'm like, really, let's use a little common sense here.
Yes.
If something happened inside that graveyard, okay, I can see that. But, God forbid you ended up dying today and you had your choice to come back and haunt someplace, or not so much haunt, but visit where you wanted to. Do you want to go visit where all your friends and your home, things that you've known, or do you want to go visit this hole in the ground that you've never seen before? So, I'm not a big proponent on cemeteries.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, it's like going to the cemetery to ghost hunt is kind of like going to the museum to, find dinosaurs. You're obviously you're going to find something because it's it's the location that they're at. Now, depending, like we just said, however the person was in life, that's how they are in death. So if you had, old grandma or grandpa who didn't like people on their yard, guess what? They're not going to want you in the cemetery.
This is true.
So when you have those bad experiences, you got to think about that. If somebody,
again, like I said earlier, we don't know what and how the whole process works. We just know there is some type of phenomena going on.
Mm-hmm.
But and all we can do is add our modern day common sense and things of that nature. And again, what do you want to go, haunt? You want to go haunt someplace where there's people you know and loved, or people you know and hated, or you go haunt this hole,
Right.
that you've
Or
never been to, and oh, there's a coffin there. Oh, it's me inside. Oh, where the hell am I?
Yep. Or if you look at it from the spirit's point of view, some people say, oh, I went to this location, there was, this spirit came in, but now it's not there anymore. You kind of have to think of like how frustrating and aggravating that has to be for the spirit. For every weekend somebody's coming in, are you there, can you speak to us? And they're trying to communicate, but we're not getting the message. So then they resort to like throwing things at you and scratching and stuff like that.
Oh, I totally agree. And like I was saying earlier, you hear people go, "Oh, we're here to help," but I'm like, not so much. I'm here to capture lightning in a jar,
Right.
so we can, see if we can figure out what this is. Well, what about the spirit's feelings? Well, how do we know they have feelings? Uh, some of my best friends are in this business are psychics, and there are a lot of psychics out there, and a lot of them just need to be shot. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. There's too many people out there running around going, "Oh, I'm psychic. Oh, I'm this," and they haven't got a clue, or they think they've got a clue.
Yep.
All these many years I've been doing this, I can count on one hand how many people I think really have a gift that I've met. Scotty Rourke is one of them, and Scotty's great. Rick Hayes, and there's a few others, and they'll tell you, even it doesn't happen to them all the time,
Right.
And it's something they had to learn to be able to switch off and on. But there's just a few out there that they're just in it for the money, or they want to be famous, or and I hate telling this, but paranormal pay sucks. This is what I do for a living too, but it doesn't pay that much, even though they're wishing it did, and they're going, "Oh, you got a TV show." Again, paranormal pay sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, what I was going to say is, now see, I used to be a belly dancer, and I used to do some sideshow acts. And one of the things that I found really interesting was people who can do the cold case, like readings, like that show, Psych, that was on a couple years ago, where they pick up on cues that people don't even realize they're giving, and then they read off of that. So I've seen,
and I have been around enough psychics enough to know how the game works.
Oh yes.
And I've done that at conventions. That's what Rick Hayes once. Our tables were right across the aisle from each other, and he was speaking. I knew he was speaking. There was a guy standing there, been waiting and waiting and waiting for Rick to come back. And finally, I walked over. I said, "Can I help you, somebody?" Because he just looked like he was just distraught and upset. And he says, "Oh, please." And he sat down, and he's like, "This is happening, and this is happening," and he thinks I'm Rick, And I'm like, okay, and I'm talking to him and everything, and he's being amazed, but he's giving me all the answers.
Right.
Not so much, right out, but his body language and, just the way he is answering certain questions and stuff to me, and then he gets up here and says, "Okay, thank you. You've helped me so much, because I'm just feeding him what I think he wants to hear."
Right.
And like I said, this is the game. This is how it's played. And this is how a lot of people do it. And finally he goes, "Well, here's my $55. Here, please take it and thank you." And about that time, Rick was walking up. I said, "No, you need to pay him. I'm the fake psychic."
Oh no. But yeah,
And Rick is good natured about it. He you know, I call Rick my uglier older brother. You know, and we're really good friends. And you know, he sat there and explained to the guy, you know, you can't be, you know, just going out and, you know, throwing your money away on this stuff. You know.
exactly, because I know tarot card readers, and there's some good ones, but there's ones who do the spiel where they just uh, they read you and they find out what you want to know, uh, and then they just feed the information back to you. And I've seen that, oh my gosh, so many times throughout the years, and it's like if you sit and listen to them, you pick up on what they're doing.
Uh, if you sit there and pay attention to it, yeah, you can. But otherwise, most of the time, people are going, "Oh my God, where'd you pull that from?" You know, and it's like when Rick will call me up and go, "Hey, Age, what you doing?" And I'm like, "You're the psychic. You tell me." You know, and I've been accused of being anti-psychic. I'm not anti-psychic. I'm anti-idiot.
Right.
And you know, if you sit there and just use common sense, stop, listen, and think, you know, you can usually pick out the ones who are just in it for the wrong reasons or there to get some money or something. You know.
That's really important when information for people who are dealing with a haunting in their home is you have to be aware of this, because if you bring in just any buddy, the psychic that you met at the art fair, in the local town, they might not be the real deal, and they might aggravate things even more.
Yeah, this is true. It's like we had, you know, this isn't psychics, so they're ghost hunters. In 1996, I put the Louisville Ghost Hunters on the internet. We were the 39th ghost hunting group on the internet. TAPS was the 38th. Okay, so 1996, 39 groups. You know how many ghost hunting groups there are now?
Oh my gosh.
It's over 2 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has to be like astronomical now.
Yeah. All right. To give you a point, like I said, we do not do anything metaphysical. Okay, we come in to try and figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
If we give you an answer, we'll give you an answer. If we need to go to help or what, get some different help, we'll call in the clergy or whatever we need to do to try and get you some help. Our biggest thing is, like I said, we want to capture this and try to figure out what is going on. We had a group that was local here for about 6 months, and they didn't last very long. And this guy had called me and said, "Please, you got to come right now. I'm getting ready to walk away from my house." He said, I had this other group. They were just here. They were here for 15 minutes. They ran out the door screaming. They told him he had 7 demons living underneath his staircase. And they went running, screaming out the door. Well, I get there, me and my guys, we're looking everything over. We're there for 6 months. And everything he's telling us, we're kind of starting to slowly figure out what's going on. Like his brand new TV from Walmart, turning off and on, changing channels and everything. Well, that's because his neighbor right next door, which is the wall next to his, is 15 feet apart. Same wall. He saw the same ad at Walmart, bought the same TV.
Oh my gosh.
It's facing the same, they're facing away from each other, but it's on the same wall. But his infrared is just a little bit stronger, and it goes right through. And so whenever the neighbor's over here watching Gunsmoke, and this guy's in here trying to watch Bewitched, he's going to be watching Gunsmoke. So little things like that. It's, what you don't know. But yeah, these people told him he had 7 ghosts that lived underneath the staircase. Doors that were opening and closing on their own. Well, no, they weren't opening on their own. They were closing on their own. That's because he didn't need us. He needed a repairman, when they're fixing the door. It was out of plumb. And, if the door was open, it would swing shut. But it didn't open by itself. But his mind automatically saw that, and tried to justify it that way. And so finally, after 6 months, I said, well, we're out here, bud. And he goes, well, where do you think the 7 demons went to? And I said, I think they left 15 minutes after they got
here. Which is probably the exactly what, they probably went in expecting something like that and, had their scare and then, took off.
Yeah, and you know what you do with people like that?
Don't call them again.
No, you just shoot them.
Well, I don't have a gun, so that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, no,
I do have.
I have been accused of shooting a psychic. I did not shoot her. I shot over her head.
Now, I do have a 160-pound mastiff that looks like a gargoyle, so that might work in my favor.
I have what?
I said I have a 160-pound Cane Corso mastiff that looks like a gargoyle, so
okay, gotcha.
That might work in my favor.
Gotcha. But no, like I said, there's a lot of people out there who just are in it for the wrong reasons, and the big boom of it is over with for now, until something new comes along that we're finally able to prove something. You can only watch so many TV shows that go, what was that? Did you hear that? No. Play it again. What did it say? Until we get something and we can prove something. I think that's the next step.
Yeah, as being able to have evidence that either points you in the direction of explaining this or dismisses
everything we thought of was true.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's now. My last question for you. Well, actually, 2 last questions. First one is
no, and I didn't know it was the mayor's daughter.
Oh no, no. What has been your scariest experience with all your years in the paranormal?
Okay, again, I'm a child of the 70s. The days of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I ain't got enough brain cells left to be scared. I have never been scared. I've been startled, with doors slamming in my faces or something thrown at me or whatever. But I've never been scared. My usual thought is like, okay, let's see if we can figure this out. Or that was cool, But never, dude, go the other way. It's usually, ooh, let's see if I can touch that. It's shiny. Let's look at it. So no, I said I just don't have enough brain cells left.
So the curiosity overrides any fear element for you.
Say it again.
I said your curiosity overrides any of the fear issues.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I've been bounced up, and there was a school I got bounced down a set of stairs, and I broke 3 ribs, my right forearm, my collarbone, and my right shoulder just broke to pieces. And even though I was hurting, I was like, no, there's people here who came to investigate, and let's go on with it. Well, the night turned out interesting. I got thrown across the room, chair and all, landed in a bunch of busted glass. And that was 4 hours after I went down the steps and finally went, okay, I've had enough. We're done for the night. My curiosity, again, not enough brain cells.
Well, to me, that would have been like one of my, if I was there and that happened to me, that would have been like the scariest situation, that I've ever experienced. But sounds like for
Well,
you, that's just.
luckily, we had a nurse with us. She was one of our group members,
Oh,
and they just, and if you've seen pictures of me, the biker look isn't a look. That's the way of life with me. So, she just took my leather vest off, and it became a sling, and they wrapped my arm up and everything with frozen water, and that's how I went for the next 4 hours, going through it. So, like I said, not enough brain cells.
or you're just tough enough to go, to go on with the investigation.
Nah, because heading home when we weren't here in Louisville, heading home, my guy that was driving me, he made sure he hit every pothole he could find,
Oh,
and then of course that seat belt going across that shoulder and collarbone and ribs, and he's like, hurting yet? Should have done this 4 hours ago. It's like, well, paying for it now.
well, I would have fired him, but that's just me. So, so my final question is going to be, um, let's give the information for Mid-South Paranormal again, and then um, is there any websites or anything for your ghost tours and stuff like that where people can, if you've piqued their interest and they want to come on tours with you, where can they find the information?
Yeah, it's www.louisvilleghs.com for Mid-South Paranormal. If you're interested in becoming a vendor, we still have some tables left, and tickets are only $40 for the entire weekend. That's Saturday, Friday night. This is a big kickoff party, and then both days. And if you want to find out more info on me or talk to me, find me on Facebook.
Okay, and I will definitely add that link to the information for this episode when I put it online, so people will be able to find it that way too. Well, Keith, I want to thank you for being on the show today and talking to me, and I hope when I see you in June, you're in good condition and nothing's bounced you down the stairs.
Me too, me too. And I thank you very much for inviting me to come on.
Oh, you are welcome. It's been an interesting chat, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Same here. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.